Of course, there will be worries about this aspect of, okay, will it ever replace me? Right? Not take away the creativity, but will my writing or my work be replaceable?
This show is for entertainment only. We are not professionals, and nothing said here counts as real advice. Beyond this point, what you do with the information we discuss is solely your responsibility. Please do your own research before making decisions based on anything mentioned in our chats.
All right, here we are. Hey, everybody. This is the group chat, and I'm Carson.
And I'm Paulina. Hi.
And Brandon is not with us today, but he'll be back on the next one. So
Maybe.
maybe
Maybe he will
we'll
be.
keep it a mystery. But chances are he'll be back. Yeah.
Let's hope.
No. So, so we already mentioned AI a bit in our fourth episode. Let's Ask AI, but that was kind of broad. We covered a lot of different ideas and opinions. So I wanted to just narrow it down a little bit more and talk about creativity and how AI is going to have an effect on human creativity. And of course, Paulina, I wanted to talk to you about it because you have already embarked on some creative endeavors. You've been successful. You published a book or two now.
No, it's
Tell
only
us about
one for
that.
now. I'm working on the second
Okay,
one.
right on, right on. So, as a creative, what is your overall impression? We'll just start with your overall opinion of it. Obviously, you were a little more pessimistic in that first episode we recorded together, the three of us. I was
Yeah,
kind of
for
in the
sure.
middle. Um, I'm gonna play the optimist as much as I can here today, and we'll see how it plays out. But anyways, yes. Tell me, what's your overall impression?
Well, I think it's really difficult to sort of just state one opinion and be like, 100%, I think it's always horrible. Although I am a little bit more pessimistic. But I do think it just really matters on which aspect we're talking about of creativity. Um, and how much of AI is actually used in that creative journey, in that creative aspect. So I don't want to, for now, we'll dive into a little bit more, but in general, I think AI can be a useful tool as long as it's used, so to say, correctly, and it doesn't take over the creative process and journey completely.
Okay,
That makes sense,
that
hopefully.
does make sense. Yes, I think a lot of
Right?
people could probably agree that as a tool, it's effective, it's helpful as long as it doesn't replace like the full process.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I stand in terms of realizing the potential for it to help at least get ideas started, or not necessarily start ideas, but kind of give the ideas a launch pad to
Mhm.
maybe transform into something else or something a little bigger, or just kind of give different options in terms of paths to take.
Of course.
But what do you really mean by getting in the way of the creative process? What other kind of things do you see AI having a negative effect on? Because I mean, you have this experience of your book, you're a writer,
Yeah.
so yeah. What do you think?
I think that in aspect of getting in the creative process, as AI doesn't really have, personally, and I think hopefully you can agree with me, um that AI doesn't really have emotions the same way as humans do. Um and in my personal opinion, that is definitely something that could get into, you know get in the way of that creative process, that if you start putting ideas into, let's say, ChatGPT or Gemini and say, hey, I wrote this poem, make it better. Okay. Grammatically, I think it could help you, or maybe choosing vocabulary, but which we also have to take it with a grain of salt because it's always not 100% correct. But I think this aspect of it can give you a different version of the poem, or I don't know, a short story or whatever you're writing. But in reality, it's not going to have the same type of emotions that you want to put out there. Mainly because, well, it is a system, right? It is still some sort of computer. Um, and I think that can influence, especially writers that are not, they're new to this whole writing community and writing world, and artists and creatives. It can definitely influence them and make them think, possibly, oh, maybe my writing is not good enough. If AI can change it to this wonderful piece that is so well written, I think it can have, a negative effect on a person's creative journey. I'm
Mm,
talking about the newbies, at least, because I think
sure.
older writers and more experienced writers um, will understand what works and what doesn't work, right?
Good point.
Whereas the newbies, when it doesn't matter, right? It's always when we're learning something, we always have doubts, right? Even when we're experienced, we still sometimes have this imposter syndrome. Um, so I think it's always important to take any type of advice that AI gives when it comes to creativity or whatever, to take it with a grain of salt.
I could see that. I like what you said about the experienced writers versus the newbies just starting out, how they
Yeah,
might see it as a threat to their creativity.
definitely.
Because in a lot of cases, it can write very well, very eloquently. It uses nearly perfect grammar, and depending on the model, depending on the tuning, the settings, and all that. So you make a really good point there. I will say that, and you did mention emotion and the
Mm-hmm.
fact that AI doesn't feel and cannot express feelings the way humans can. And
Yeah.
at this point in time, at least, AI can't read our minds or,
Yeah.
search our memories, play them over, and see what kind of emotions could be brought up from said memories or experiences. I will say that to counter the lack of emotion, to be on the
Mm-hmm.
AI
Right.
optimist side,
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
that yeah, yeah. And you kind of played with this idea too, is that if you feed it the right information, if you ask it the right questions, if you have this kind of cooperation or like a more collaborative effort between AI and the writer, the creative and the AI, that you can actually maybe uncover or articulate those emotions better if you're stuck. But then again, to be fair, it does depend on the level of the writer. It depends
Yeah.
on how clear the memory or experience is, and yeah, also, of course, how well you use AI.
Yeah, definitely. And I can actually agree with you on that, that yes, you need to know what to actually put into the chat with AI, um, for it to give you an output that you would like. Um, and I think, we also experiment with that when we write our caption from time to time, when we put our description. And as I said, I do think it's a useful tool. Um, but we have to be very careful with how we use it, and how we what type of things we put into that chat, and what we get, and how we can also change it so it still feels quite real, like you're putting your emotions into something. Um And recently we even had a conversation. They're like, oh, recently I don't have much time to think of descriptions or captions and so on.
Right,
And
right.
that's fine. And that's normal, right? I mean, we're all
It
busy.
happens.
It
Yeah.
happens. And that's what I asked her. I'm like, I get it. It happens, whatever. Um, but at the same time, I also know that you also write. You told me that you also write.
I
And
dabble.
that you, yeah, and you would prefer to obviously write something on your own than have AI write it for you. Why? Because, well, it holds a different, there's a different value to it, right?
Yeah,
Realistically,
definitely.
something that is written by a real person that has emotions, versus something that is a bot, you can't really compare that feeling, right? Those emotions.
Can't argue with that. Like I told you in regards to what you just brought up with the writing descriptions or whatever. I said, I'm not proud of it, but I've had to use AI to help me with this because sometimes it's hard to remember what all did we discuss. You know, it's an
Yeah,
hour of three people talking and maybe a week has passed or nearly a week has passed and I need, how can I replay that? I don't have this ability to press play in my mind and see it in my mind's eye exactly what we discussed. I mean, I could watch the
I
episode, of
wish.
course, but that's an hour of my time,
Yeah,
right? So, no, good point. Good point. And it does feel better knowing that you wrote it from your memory in
yeah,
your words. Um, and that's why anytime I use AI to help me with any writing task, it's just that. It's a tool to either give me direction or set the tone of the writing, the right kind of level of engagement, so be it. And then I, of course, edit it to make it sound how I would have it sound, using
yeah.
adjectives I would use, or or a sharper explanation of a certain topic or thing that we mentioned. But I was thinking, since we're kind of on this topic of new writers versus more experienced writers, and we can extend this out to other creatives.
Yeah.
If if you were starting out in a creative pursuit nowadays, whether you're a musician, writer, graphic designer, tons of different creative career options out there. But seeing as AI is developing so rapidly, I mean, we're almost seeing changes monthly or even weekly at times, and
Yeah.
just how the models we're using are becoming more and more capable. Would you, starting out, if you were somebody who's starting out, would you be optimistic? Would you be more threatened by AI, or would you be more optimistic in that you could use it um, to improve your skills as an artist?
It's a very good question. I think, let's put it this way. I have my first book out. I wrote my first book in 2024. So what, 2 years ago. AI was already around, right? Um, Maybe not to the same scale that we have right now, that pretty much people use it every day. But it was already out. And honestly, when I wrote my first novel, I didn't really think too much about, let me use AI to, I don't know, to give me titles, to do this, to whatever. Because I just, I truly enjoyed the creative process. Um, and I think that goes for a lot of writers. Um, that if they enjoy the creative process, they won't really, so to say, maybe worry about AI. Um, of course, there will be worries about this aspect of, okay, will it ever replace me? Right? Not take away the creativity, but will my writing or my work be replaceable?
Hmm.
Um,
Meaning,
and
could
will
AI
it,
do what you did better?
yeah,
I see.
right? Um, Not, maybe not currently, like as we said, about this whole idea of emotions that is still, lacks that. But who
Hmm.
knows, maybe in 20 years or maybe less than 20 years, it could, to a certain extent, feel certain things as we do. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not a tech guru, but it's a possibility, right? Um, but where I was going with this is that there's also this aspect of not only replacing, but will my work still be as valuable um as of some of the greatest, I don't know, writers and musicians that we have, um versus something that, is created by AI? Will it get that good that the value of AI work will be equivalent to of a real person? So as a newbie writer, to maybe trace back, as a newbie writer, I don't think I don't think that I would not enjoy the process. I think that I would just be more scared of this idea that in 5 years' time or 10 years' time, will my work still be valuable, or will AI take over and the value of what I have done will just decrease? I don't know.
No, it makes perfect sense. I mean, if you consider just like when you start anything, it doesn't have to be a creative pursuit, but if you start studying to learn new skills or change careers or whatever, there's always, like you said, there's that imposter syndrome. There's fear.
Yeah.
Essentially, it comes down to fear, doubt, um, good days and bad days. But the bad days, you feel like this is never going to work out for me. I'm never going to be good enough, or somebody could do
Mhm.
it better. I don't have as much experience. Why me? Why me? Why me? And then AI, you're saying, from what I gathered from what you just were just saying, you still maintain that kind of, it might make me more apprehensive to start, or might make me less confident in the probability of success as an artist. So I think that's real. I think people feel that. I think
Yeah.
that's a real fear that people are expressing all over the internet, all around the world. They're a little worried that it might take away that aspect of humanity, a creative edge. Now, I will say to counter, because I have a
Mhm.
slight counter,
Mhm.
that the natural language processing skills of AI being as great as they are already, the ability to have this conversation with AI gives you um, the impression that you are being emotionally rewarded or praised, and it has an impact on you psychologically. To not maybe not to the same extent as it would having a conversation with a human, right? But
Mhm.
the more you dive into a problem, the more you seek solutions or creative workarounds, whatever it may be, whatever query you might put into your AI model, the closer it gets to understanding how you think, and it talks to you the way you want to be talked to or the way you respond to. Really, essentially, you train it on the way that you want to be
Yeah.
interacted with. And so, where that's concerned, I would say that its emotional abilities are, I mean, compared to 2 years ago, way more advanced. I mean,
Yeah.
it's at first we're all calling bullshit, okay, flattery, flattery. Oh, you're so great at this. But, I mean, it's getting to the point with me where it's asking me, it's really, helping push me to ponder more or to
Mhm.
really look at it from a different angle. Not always. Sometimes it's very, oh, that's you're on the right track. You're doing the right thing. And sometimes, you could feel it kissing your ass a little bit. But
Yeah.
I will say, like, especially for young people, this works tremendously to capture their interest, to capture that emotional
For sure.
connection, and then there's another episode on AI relationships, but
Yeah. But how does that make you feel? If I can ask you that, how does that make you feel that AI actually is starting to understand you a little bit more as a person and uses that to actually communicate with you on a level or a way that you would like to be, talked to? Does that scare you? Is that something that you're sort of like come to terms with, or?
I I respect that it's a natural part of the evolution of AI, in that
Uh-huh.
if something is going to continue to be effective enough to be used by people on a mass scale, then it has to be better. And by better, that means it needs to be better at giving good information, good information quickly, and then also communicating in a way that a human understands and appreciates and
Uh-huh.
respects, right? Because it has to be professional enough, it has to be casual enough, depending on the tone of the conversation. And so I appreciate that it is happening. I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Do I like that? To answer your question, how do I really feel about that? At times it makes me nervous, yes. At times it brings me closer to the feeling of, I guess, apprehension or fear of the loss of human connection, because of the fact that maybe one day we won't be able to tell if we are talking to a human or talking to AI. And I think that's already started. I think
Right.
we've already had a lot of deep fakes. I mean, audio, you could be, spammed by phone
Yeah.
call,
Right.
vishing, I think it's called.
Yeah.
And so it's already happening, and people are already being taken advantage of through tools that are built by AI.
Yeah.
So yes, there's some fear. I'll be honest. I have a lot of interest and a lot of fear. I'm optimistic that regulation will come, regulation in the sense that more care will be taken in the rollout of these technologies. There will be some kind of governance, um, to protect people from the negative aspects or the negative side of AI. So I still am optimistic that it can be controlled. I don't see it spiraling out of control, but
Okay.
now now I'm rambling. So
No, no, I really do hope that there will be more regulations on this, because when I think about this idea of AI and creativity, right? As a person who's quite creative, um, and not just creativity, but aspect in general of, as you said, like even fishing or, um, people getting scammed or whatever. I think there needs to be certain rules and regulations with that. Um, in regards to aspects of creativity, what really irks me, um, well, I'll ask you a question instead of saying
no, no,
what
no. What
irks me.
irks you? You can ask
Um,
me a question anytime. Yeah, go ahead.
do you think this is a question that I wrote down? So let me take a quick look at it because I don't want to fuck it up when I ask it. Uh, do you think is it moral or correct to price AI art, like books, music, and whatever, the same as actual art? Because this is something that I'm starting to see more and more of.
It is a very good question. And in my heart of hearts, no, it's
Okay.
not moral. It's not correct. It's not the right thing to do, because
Why we need to regulate. Regulate. If you watch the different episode, you
regulators.
will know what we're talking about. Regulate with
That's right.
regulators. All right. Go on,
Yes,
Carson.
yes. Well, there's intellectual work that is prized.
Okay.
There's emotional expression that's prized through art. And so, no, I don't believe that anybody can write a book with AI. You train a monkey how to use a keyboard. A monkey could get AI to make a book. You teach a monkey 5 words, it might be enough to make some kind of silly child's book, children's book.
Yeah.
Uh, so no, there's absolutely, it's not correct. Now, will it happen? Sure, because we live in a society where you charge as much as you can, no matter the cost of production, even when it's very, very cheap to make. The prices still are what they are. And we see that when we go out to eat. We see that when we buy just any number of products.
Of
with
course.
all the streaming services and the subscription models. It just doesn't matter how easy it is or how much of something there is. The companies will be chasing that dollar as long as that's the ruling um, bartering chip.
Yeah.
So, no, it's a great question.
And that's what's the thing that irks me, right? That's the thing that irks me
Are
that
you seeing that? Are you seeing that their like AI work is they're charging a lot for this?
yes, I have I have a like a TikTok account that is specifically for writing and whatnot. Um and honestly, writers and other creators, but mainly I follow a lot of other writers and screenplay writers and musicians. They honestly like rip apart like people who use AI in their work. And I'm talking about but use AI in their work as in literally copy and paste. Like
Yeah.
text from Chat GPT and you put it into your work. And there are, different ways that you can sort of spot that. There are little hints here and there that you can sort of feel like this doesn't really flow the same way as the rest of the book or the other paragraphs.
Yeah.
Um,
Sometimes it loses its train of thought.
yeah,
You kind of feel it going off on this weird AI tangent. Like, no, that doesn't exist in our reality, but okay.
yeah. And a lot of people get really frustrated because then those writers, those authors, well, authors, I'll put in quotes, um, those authors, those musicians, those artists will sell that at the same price, if not higher, as, you know, other people who have done all the work on their own. Um, and it just makes it very difficult. Obviously, if you're traditionally publishing, that's a different story. I mean, they have their own world, but if you're a self-published author, if you're an indie author, um, and you go through the process and the struggle of actually getting your book out there and noticed and whatever, and then you get another indie author and or a writer that, self-published doing that with AI, it just gives everybody else like bad rep. So it just takes one to sort of like fuck it up for everybody else. And that's
Well, I
what
think
like
that's good.
it's quite frustrating,
That's like a
right?
self-correcting feature of creative artists working together. Like they call bullshit when somebody's using
Yeah.
AI. It's like that's like a cheat code. Like you played the
Yeah.
game, you made it to the final level, but you use cheat codes. It's not the same,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
So it shouldn't be valued as much. I'll have to agree with you there. I'll break
Yeah.
character, be a little anti-AI where
Right
that's concerned.
character for like 2 minutes.
No, I can never break character. I'm always a character.
That's
So,
a Spanish saying, Carson. No? Un
I mean,
personaje.
yeah, it is, but you can in English. I mean, I say quite often that like somebody's so and so is a character. Like, oh man, what a character! Yeah, yeah, yeah. Que
I'm trying to
personaje, and what a character.
character.
I've used it in English before moving to Spain as well. Yeah,
Really?
like, oh, that guy's. It's like a nicer way to say somebody's a little weird, a little out there. Like you could say, oh, he's a strange cat, or that's he's
Yeah.
one strange cat, or you could say he's a fucking
It's an
character, man.
oddball.
Yeah, he's an oddball. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I use it in both languages.
Alrighty, alrighty, Mr. Worldwide over here.
Mr. Worldwide.
Oh my gosh.
Uh,
And to piggyback off of a question that you asked way earlier, when you asked me about this aspect of should young writers or creatives um be scared to go into this world of of creativity on this fun, creative journey um because of AI. Do you personally think that right now art is dead? Or do you think that people can still make a living off of it without using AI?
without using AI.
Mhm.
Yes, people can absolutely still make a living off of art,
Okay.
music especially, writing still. Um, Other more technically inclined careers such as graphic arts might, graphic design, graphic arts careers, those types of careers might suffer because a lot of those companies will require them to have the skills, at least some basic skills, because it comes down to saving time and the editing and the
Yeah.
tedious repetitive tasks that are, involved in some of these jobs. But no, you can definitely, I think you can still, without AI, be successful. I would argue though that I don't think you're going to find a human being that's alive right now who would be disciplined enough not to sneak a peek or just, send a few queries into the AI model of their choosing to get a little bit of advice, a little bit of a suggestion. I
Okay.
don't know that there's the discipline for a human being nowadays. If humans have discipline nowadays to avoid using AI. And honestly, I don't think they should.
Yeah.
I don't think they should. I think you are at a disadvantage if you're not using AI to some extent in almost every career. Aside from
How
creative
so?
professions, well, I
Tell
think
me.
it's the ultimate assistant. I mean, you're not always able to ask a human in the moment when you have an issue or when you need maybe a different perspective. Maybe your coworkers are busy. Maybe your boss, you can't talk. We know how hard it is sometimes to talk to the top person. That top person is busy. They've got meetings. They don't really have much time for you.
Yeah.
And so you might schedule a meeting, they might cancel it, but by the time you actually get to sit down with that person, well, you could have solved your problem. You could have thought of a different solution. You could have, done some troubleshooting. And I think it's really like used as a tool. You're kind of doing yourself uh, you're at a disadvantage if you're not utilizing AI. But
Okay.
can you get ahead in certain careers without a lot of AI use? Sure. But some careers, it might be harder.
Yeah. I guess so. I can see your point there.
What
Um,
do you think? I give you my spiel. Do you think it's still worth doing? Do you think you can still make it without AI?
it's definitely more difficult, right? As I definitely agree that it's difficult to think of a person, right? Even the best of writers or I don't know, musicians or whatever, for them not to, just double check something, like do these two words rhyme? Um, does this make sense? Whatever type of thing. Um, so I do think that it is a good assistant, right? Not perfect,
No.
but good enough, right?
Yeah. But in
Um,
some cases, maybe better than a human. In some cases.
yeah, right. And I think, as you said, also saves up a lot of that time, especially when you're working on deadlines, right? You have a deadline you have to meet. You need to send your song to whoever, right? Um, or some sort of lyrics or text. Okay, let me see if this makes sense. Let's put a email together and send it,
Yeah.
right? Um, so even in those daily tasks of sending emails, answering any type of messages, um, follow-ups, whatever, I think that is very useful. And it definitely saves a lot of time.
Okay. So, yes, I think that's true. Like you said, like we've mentioned, it can be a good assistant, but it can't really um, replace the human element, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, maybe in the end, it's good to use, but not to rely on completely.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I can't argue with that, right? That's one thing that I can definitely um sort of be just like, yes, I agree with you. I think, we're on the same page. Um, but like I said, as definitely as a person who is creative, I try to avoid it. It's difficult. And as you have mentioned, that might be quite difficult even for professionals, right? To not have that like little sneak peek, and sort of like, let's see what, AI has to say about this. Um, so let alone for people who are not professionals, right? Who are
Right.
still quite new to this um creative world, to whether you make music, whether you do, I don't know, some other type of art. Um, it is tempting, right? It's always tempting to see, okay, how can I change this? How can this be fixed? What else can I add? But we also have to be quite quite strict with ourselves and sort of just be like, okay, yes, I can use it this way, but I'm not going to have AI write my whole book,
Yeah,
right? Or create the whole, I don't know, song for me.
sure. Yeah, I think AI is also very good for the people who are less comfortable asking humans for help. Maybe it's a question of not having the person to ask. Maybe it is a problem that you don't know somebody who's good at this, good at that. Or maybe it's a confidence thing. Maybe you just don't have that rapport, and it's much easier for you to pick up your phone or get on your device and ask AI. Kind of it gives you the sense that it's behind closed doors. Like you can ask it a ridiculous question that's a human might say, "That's such a stupid question," or "Why do you
Mm-hmm.
care?" or "Why do you really want to know that?" But AI, it's not a human, so we don't really care what it thinks of our question.
Yeah.
So maybe it's good for that. Maybe it's good for asking those questions that we otherwise wouldn't ask.
Yeah, definitely. There is a level of this comfort, right? Like comfort with as you said, with AI that maybe with another person we wouldn't ask them because, as you said, it might be a weird question, or I don't know. Let's say you're writing something or you're creating a song or you're doing some sort of art, and you're not going to go up to an art teacher and ask, okay, which colors do I mix to make yellow? Or they're going to look at you and like, at this point, you should know, you know?
They're going to
So
tell
you're
you,
going to
"Why
go
don't you
into
ask
AI,
AI?"
right? Yeah, like Google it, or look in your book. Um, so yes, like this idea of, like there are no stupid questions. Well, now with AI,
Well, with AI, there are no stupid questions, but in real life,
exactly.
there kind of are.
Exactly.
People will say there's no stupid questions, and you ask one, and then they don't say that was a stupid question. But later, when they go home, they tell their spouse and tell their friends, "Oh my God, somebody asked such a stupid question today." Don't sit here and lie to me like that. There are no stupid questions. Okay, well,
True story.
I've
Every
never
day
told
of
a
my
lie in
life.
my life. I've never lied to anybody. That was a lie right there. Like, don't bullshit a bullshitter.
But why should we even care about this topic? That's something that, sometimes I sit down and I think about it because I'm a person who's creative, right? It doesn't matter if it's writing, if it's painting, which my paintings are complete shit and I just do it, for the fuck of painting and doing something
but
fun.
but it makes you
Um
feel good.
exactly, right? Um or, trying to practice playing the keyboard, which I'm also, horrible
Oh, I
at.
gotta hear this.
I don't know.
Oh,
The
come
only thing
on.
I have learned, what is that song by Elvis Presley? Can't help but falling in love with you or whatever. Um, very basic. I'm talking just dun, dun, dun. That's it. Like I can do it, but with one hand just playing the very basic notes.
With a
Ah,
strong hand.
yes, it's horrible. Um,
Ah, it can't be that bad.
But as a creative person, right? Someone who sort of lives, breathes, and sleeps art type of thing as much as I can, um, I sit down and I think, I care about this, but why the fuck would others care about this, right? That art is now being done by AI, right? That people start writing their novels. but with AI, or creating their music. Can people tell the difference, right? If they're listening to a song that has AI, or the lyrics have been done by AI or not. So, like I said, for me, I think about this every now and then. I'm like, of course we should care about this, because that sort of, has been around for thousands and thousands of years. This idea of creativity, of storytelling, of music connecting people. I care about it, but others might not. So should we care about it?
I think we should care about it. I think we should. I think we do care about it. I think we do deep down care deeply, about our creative expression, our ability to create, our ability to take something from inside of us and our soul and our heart and our mind, that combination of those parts of us that make us real, and to get it out there and share it with our kind, share it with other humans. So is the threat to creativity real? Should we care about it? I say yes, absolutely. I think we do care about it. Whether or not we should, we do. I was thinking about this question before you asked it, in the sense of it is like a fundamental, it's not like our need to drink water and eat food and sleep. It's not like one of those biological needs,
Yeah.
but it almost is. It's a psychosocial need. It's not I, it's hard
It's
to
a
say.
need to express yourself,
It is, and
right?
it's not maybe on the same level or in the same way for every individual, but I feel like it's in all of us. Like you
Yeah,
mentioned storytelling. We storytell in so many different ways. We tell stories on podcasts nowadays. I mean, it's always been on radio,
we're here.
movies.
This is what we're doing.
We have this need. We feel it. We have a
Yeah,
propensity to share, to create, to explore our feelings and our ideas, and to collaborate with one another. So I feel like that's never going to change. I say AI is not a threat because it's not a real threat. It's not going to stop us from being human. It might drive down the desire for some young people, and they might
hmm
have to discover that later in life. And I guess that is where we need to be careful in protecting what it means to be human. And that means having creative expression, feeling safe, um, and able to share and able to create, whether or not it earns us money in the form of a career, or whether it just gives us some kind of therapeutic relief, or a way to feel complete.
for sure. Um, when you were talking, something came to my mind. Um, this idea of, that younger generations, obviously they rely quite heavily on AI. We have talked about that before as well, right? Even when they're doing their research and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
Um, it makes me think of, how will that affect their outlook on art and what they will consider to be art? Because when you ask the older generation, right, like us fucking boomers over here, um, we think, I don't know, Mona Lisa, right? We're like, wow, like Mona Lisa is in the Louvre, whatever. Like, you think of that as like art, right? You read, I don't know, Shakespeare. For many people, that's like, wow, art, right? Like, amazing. You listen to, I don't know, Queen, Bohemian Rhapsody, wow, art, right?
Beautiful
For
examples.
them, that definition of art will be very different. Um, and it makes me think, how will museums look like in the future?
Hmm. This AI was inspired by Banksy, by blah 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 blah. It'll be AI Banksy Museum.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's an interesting thought.
I know it's a very, like, maybe specific question, but you go to museums now and you go there to actually, like, enjoy something that a person has actually painted, that took the time, to sit there, mix the paint, whatever, do all of, the little details. But then if when you go to a museum that 30, 40, 50 years from now, I'm not gonna be on this earth probably in 50 years, but
What? I'm sure you will. You're a youngin'.
I'll be like 100
Come
years
on.
old now. I'm
Don't
just
count
joking.
yourself out. You're not gonna be 150 years. You need to go back
No.
to go take math class again. Okay, everybody,
What
she
math?
doesn't look 50, but she's actually 50. So I hear you. I hear you. No, no. I hear you. I totally hear you. But I want to say that I think you're mistaking your subjective, what's subjectively appealing to you about museums and art
Of course.
to perhaps whatever other percentage of people or other reasons people have for visiting museums and other reasons
Yeah.
people have for enjoying the art. For example, I don't go and think about the materials people use. I don't go and think about what this person's life story is, what brought them to do this. Now, sometimes I will admit that it's fun to learn about that, maybe after the
Mhm.
fact. Maybe you see a work of art that really touches you and you start thinking, wow, like what was going on in that person's mind? Or man,
Yeah.
they were doing a lot of drugs or something. Or and so it prompts you to dive a little deeper, to learn a little bit more about their lives, whatever. But in a lot of cases, for me, for example, I go in and I appreciate a painting, for example. If I'm in a museum looking at a painting, I appreciate it for what it makes me think or consider, or the
Mhm.
questions it brings up in my mind, or the correlations to present day or past or maybe even the future. And so, yeah, I don't know that that aspect of appreciating art will change. Maybe what is appreciated about it could,
Yeah.
but as long as I think as long as it like it's one thing to create the art, it's another to observe the art.
Of course. Yeah.
And so maybe those will be the sending and receiving, so to speak, will be affected in different ways as AI is uh is used more in that world, in that space.
Possibly. Yeah, of course. I
Yeah.
mean, everyone has a different reason to go to museums, as you said. Um, but museum is only one of those things, right? I mean, we
Yeah.
also think about music, right? And how will music I mean, music is constantly changing, but how will music also look like when it's made by AI? Will we be able to tell that something was created by AI? It's very difficult. There was a song that was very popular. I have to say it was very popular on TikTok. Um, it was like a trending sound or whatever. And it was made by some sort of popular artist. I don't remember their name. Um,
Hmm.
and later on, it came out that this person actually used AI for like a good chunk of their song.
Well,
I think it was like the chorus was completely done by AI. And people were like, "Oh my God, like I'm banning this song, like I'm never listening to it." The typical, the typical spiel that people do. But
virtue signaling.
it's this idea of, okay, will we know if things are done by AI when it comes to music? Like, you have to be really in that industry to sort of be able to spot that.
Well, you may not be able to
Right.
spot it. They might just have to come out with it. Maybe it should be illegal to hide the source, just like we have to say where the food comes from. Maybe at some
Yeah.
point they'll have to say, well, this is where the sounds come from, and they can't hide it
Yeah.
from us. But moreover, do we really care? If it sounds good, right?
I mean, yes, but then at the same time, I mean, I was gonna say, but at the same time, people who actually buy their music, but nowadays, who the fuck buys music? Nobody buys CD. Well, maybe
That's
some people buy
changed.
CDs. If they collect CDs or vinyls or whatever, then that's a different story. But yeah, that has changed. Nowadays, we pay for a subscription, but will you pay for a subscription when the music is made by AI? All of it?
All of it?
What's the point?
Absolutely not.
What's the point of? if you can go to ChatGPT or whatever type of thing and create it on your own. Why won't I be a freaking billionaire and sell my music? Sorry, I'm coming in
No,
hot
no, no.
right
You're,
now.
you're no. This is great. This is perfect. This is making me think, and I like to think. I like to explore ideas, I should say. So it's a good idea to explore. I was just thinking now that you're bringing this up, it makes me think of take your favorite band, for example. Let's just take Queen. You already mentioned Queen, and I love Queen. So take Queen, and I'm sure they're doing this. And I'm sure they've done it, and I'm sure they're going to do it again with other bands, right? Taking their likeness in terms of their voice, their rhythm, their pitch, their tone, all those aspects of vocals and instruments and things I don't know about. But you take all that, let AI reconstruct and maybe create new songs with that sound. I will give it a listen. Will I appreciate it the same way as I would knowing that Freddie Mercury and his band wrote this, played this, practiced this together? No, I won't appreciate it the same way. Could I really enjoy the songs that AI produces with their likenesses? Sounds so weird. Then yeah, maybe I could see myself like, okay, I love this jam. Like you you make a different rendition of Another One Bites the Dust, and you give me some more songs in that style, in that vein, like I'm sure I'll be grooving to it,
Shaking
you
your
know what I
booty.
mean?
Yeah.
Shaking what my mama gave me. But I
Shout
don't
out to
know.
Carson's mama.
Thanks, Mom. Appreciate it. I want to give a
No,
shout out.
I get what you're saying. I definitely get, I definitely get what you're saying. Um, but I think I would definitely give it a listen. But I don't know if I would have that same type of connection with it. Right? I
No, I don't
mean,
think you could. If you knew.
if you knew, exactly, if you knew, that's the thing.
But
It's
there's
like, and
so
how
many
will we know?
songs. There's so many songs you don't know even about your favorite artist. If your favorite
Yeah.
artist had like more than 5 or 6 or 7 albums, and a lot of them did or do, then the chances of you knowing every song, maybe just one comes up on your Spotify, on your YouTube music, Pandora, whatever, and you're like, oh, this is nice. There was one, I think by Sublime, but it's the new
Mm-hmm.
Sublime without Bradley,
Okay.
but it sounded just like him. And I think, I could be mistaken, but I later read that they either used AI to manipulate the voice or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked it at first, and I think I may have unliked it because of that. So it's an interesting point that you bring up. There was some AI cheat code action going on there. Because I was like, man, I've never heard this song, but this is a jam, and it sounds just like Bradley. It's like, did I just miss this song? Because they didn't have a lot of time as a band. Like, they kind of fell apart fast. I mean,
Yeah.
sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I mean, it's bound to happen. But fuck,
True.
really wish they had a
Yeah.
few more albums in them. It would have been rad.
Yeah. It's making me also think about movies because I mean that's another creative thing that we haven't really touched upon, but I'm gonna be brief with this. It's making me think about your favorite shows, for example. We know that you're gonna say The Sopranos, right? So The
Oh,
Sopranos. Yeah.
what are you gonna?
Right? The Gabagool. Right.
All right.
Right. And we're thinking about like a lot of the actor. Well, what's his name? James was James. No, the main actor,
Yeah,
James
his last name is escaping me. Gandolfini.
Gandolfini. I'm
Yeah.
so fucking this up right now.
No, 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 no. I think you're on it. I think you got it.
Yeah, I'm gonna look this up. I'm gonna double check.
We're fact checking ourselves, people. See, we're the good
Oh,
ones.
it is. Holy shit! All right.
Eh.
It is James Gandolfini. All right, Mr. James Gandolfini. May he rest in peace. He died in 2013. Imagine he now comes out The Sopranos 2, for example, right? Another sort of Godfather type of shit, The Sopranos too. And they put his voice, but it's not his voice that was already recorded. It's an AI generated
Yeah,
voice
right.
or AI generated even image of him.
Oh yeah, both.
How would you feel if they brought back James Gandolfini back to life?
First of all, I'd watch it.
Okay, fair enough. Yes, I get it.
When you're so when you're in the grips of an episode, a compelling episode of one of your favorite shows, you're not thinking, "Oh, this is AI." You're thinking, "Oh man, this is such a good show. What happens next?" Or, "I wonder what she's gonna say when he tells her that."
Okay,
So in
fair.
the moment, no. In the moment, I think it's impossible really to focus on too many things at once. Your feelings about your ethical feelings of AI
Of
versus, you
course.
know, the a real life and real time. But yeah, at the end of the day, it does seem weird. I don't know that it's ethical or moral to do that, especially
Yeah.
without explicit written permission from the deceased. If we're talking about somebody
Yeah.
who has passed away, I think that's something that we're going to see. Like laws and regulations are going to change, and there's going to be some weird laws on the books. Like people who lived 100 years ago, if they were to see the laws that are going to be coming out in the next 10 years, even they would be
For sure.
shocked. They wouldn't know what to start. They don't even, they don't have the language vocabulary to understand what this would mean. And
Yeah.
we're still starting and we'll be continuing to understand what it means. I mean, we're still just trying to figure out, we're still
We're
unveiling the
still dealing with fucking racism, Carson. Like,
Oh, I was gonna go there. I was gonna
oh,
talk
we're
about
still
social
dealing
media.
with fucking sexism and racism and whatnot. Like, it's fucking 2026. Like, the
On the
laws and regulations.
on
It,
the tech side though, social media is not
yes.
regulated.
No.
And that's been taking a toll on all people of all ages since its inception. We're how many years into it at this point? A good 25 since like
Yeah.
everybody had it.
Yeah.
Um, and we're just now starting to get that under control. So if AI doesn't get regulated or isn't safely, you know, maintained, the consequences could definitely be far worse than social media.
Yeah. No, for
Yes.
sure. Definitely. Do you have any other questions? I think that you're like you're keeping it, pretty uh you're
Sure.
answering a lot of questions and you're definitely keeping the side of, that we need to be careful, but also at the same time, eh, like,
There's no stopping it, Paulina. There's no
oh,
stopping it.
I don't
And we
know.
shouldn't stop it because I still say net positive. I still say that it's not to the point where we need to turn it off. Hopefully that day never arrives. First of all, that would probably be impossible. There's too much invested already, and investments are just skyrocketing. I mean, we
Yeah.
haven't even gone there. Maybe I'll talk about that with Brandon a little bit on the money side in the next episode. Stay tuned. Um, but nah, man, let's go for it. Let's do it. Have fun
All
with
right.
it. Use it for good, not for evil. Keep it in the right
Yeah.
hands. Stay creative out there. Let it
Yeah.
enhance your creative pursuit, your creative
Exactly.
process. Don't let it replace, enhance.
Well said. Well said. Yeah.
Awesome.
You have any other questions? Maybe you have any, hot questions over there for me or
Hot questions,
hot
sizzling
questions.
questions. No,
Sizzling. Burning. Fahrenheit burning. All right.
no, that's all I've
No?
got. So, thank you for following us to the end. For those of you who made it, We are
Yahoo! You
on.
made it!
Yeah, you made it. Congratulations. You get 1 million tokens. Another thing about AI. Anyways, thank you for watching. We are on social media. We are on Instagram. We've got YouTube. We're on Spotify, Apple. Paulina, am I missing anything here?
You're pretty. You got it all. I
Pretty
think
much
there is
all of them.
another
Yeah.
something, but I don't know. Brandon
We're
said something
everywhere.
about it.
We're
Wherever
everywhere.
you listen to your podcast, yeah.
Give us a like, give us a follow, share some snippets. You know, we hope to see you on the next one. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. Ciao.
Bye. I got you. Did my camera freeze?
Yes, you froze.
One moment, people. Let's see.
So we'll
Oh,
just
boy.
wait for Carson. I don't know if he can hear me. I'll just sit here and look pretty
Can you hear me?
until Carson comes back.
Really? Can't even hear me?
And Brandon will have a lot of editing to do. Carson, keep fucking up.